Alexis Sunshine 83, it's always sunny here. Boop.
Hey Sunshiners, Alexis Sunshine 83 here. So I'd asked on my Instagram for questions to use for a Q&A video, and one of the entries I had gotten was a request to do a makeup routine. And so I figured, why not answer some questions while also showing you my everyday makeup. This is the makeup that I've done basically for 2 years straight. I have swapped out some of the products, but overall the same makeup look. So if you've been curious, here you go. The first thing I'm gonna do is add sunscreen, which I'm actually quite proud of myself that I have been wearing sunscreen, face sunscreen, every single day for a year, which I know sounds so silly. Actually, I think it's even been over a year, which, pat on my back, sounds so silly that I'm proud of it, but it has taken 29 years for me to wear sunscreen on my face every day. And it hasn't been until 2020 that I even started trying out different face sunscreens. Growing up, I was told that I didn't need sunscreen because I don't burn, I tan quite easily, but obviously that's not the only reason to wear sunscreen. And so I have been on a mission to find one that went along with my skin type. I have very dry skin, and there's definitely been a lot of trial and error, and it has been until the Crave Beauty one that I actually enjoy putting it on. But even this sunscreen that I'm using, the Crave Beauty one, it took me about a month to properly figure out the way to layer it so it would sit under my makeup well and also be okay by itself as well. Like if I wasn't wearing makeup, that I could just wear it alone. And I did find, even though I have very dry skin, that it actually works to be used as my moisturizer and sunscreen. Anytime I added a moisturizer under it, even if it was a different brand, I tried so many different ones of my moisturizers to layer, it just ended up not sitting on my face properly, and then with makeup it would pill. And so I found that just using that as my moisturizer and sunscreen has been fantastic. The next thing I do is my eyebrows, and I have been doing this technique of my eyebrows for the past 4 years. It's kind of like soap brow look. I use the Got To Be hair gel. It makes my eyebrows cement, which could be a pro or a con. I find if I'm trying on a lot of clothes, I don't have to worry about my eyebrows being messed up because they literally won't be able to be messed up. But I will say recently I have been feeling kind of like meh with my eyebrows. Like I kind of want to try out a different way of doing them, but I don't even know what other eyebrow styles there are. Like I've done the Anastasia, Beverly Hills, block brow, and then this brow basically. And so I don't even know what else I would do. This is working for now. I just feel like I'm not loving the look as much as I used to. But okay, finally to the first question, which is, how is it going in the new place? Which we have been here for, I think, 6 months, which is wild. It feels like we just moved in, but that we've always lived here as well. Truly, we both love this apartment. Like, I don't think I have ever lived in a place that has felt as much like a home as this place. Yes, there's normal apartment things, but I feel like neighbor-wise, sound-wise, location-wise, even floor plan-wise, we just picked the perfect place. There's so many windows for the cats. There's so many trees that then birds go on that then the cats get to enjoy. We have our fingers, toes, legs crossed that they don't raise our rent too much when our lease is up to renew. I don't know what it's like in other places of the US, but every apartment I've ever lived in, it always raises about $100. My sister is renting from the same management company, and her lease just renewed for $150 more. So we do have some wiggle room with the price of like when we would hit our max. So we should still be okay, hopefully for a couple years, because we just want to stay here as long as possible. I am putting on 2 different primers. First, this like Hydro Grip Milk Makeup one that I've been using for 4 years that I put all over my face, and then after I go in with the Glossier Future Dew just on kind of like this area. Usually the places where I get breakouts that I find with concealer, just with this primer, does end up catching to dry patches and makes it like crackly and kind of yucky. And so I have found using this in a more like targeted placement has been really successful. I only started using it maybe like 3 months consistently, and I've had it for 6 months, and I just found every way that I tried to use it just never worked out. So using it more in a targeted sense in this area has been the most successful. I also got a question about doing an apartment tour, and I think I will wait probably when we like have officially been here for a full year, just because we really want to take it slow in the decorating department. And also John and I have similar home decor style, but I will say he's definitely on the minimalist side and I'm on the maximalist side. So trying to find kind of like a compromise, and obviously for me, like wanting to be respectful, like in this room, my office, I can go as wild as I want, and I could do that in the rest of the apartment, but I want it to feel comfortable for him because he also, you know, pays rent. And so I think because we have decorated for Halloween and Christmas, which the decorations that we put up wasn't anything super like extravagant, it's just Halloween and Christmas decorations that we've had for the past couple of years that we put up. But once we take those down, I feel like it's gonna feel a little empty, and so that will probably make us actually start decorating a little bit more the space. But I just really want to take my time with adding things because we just love it so much here, and so we want to just, yeah, make it even more beautiful and comfortable and not just buy stuff just to buy stuff. What is one trend you regret participating in and one you'll continue to? I honestly feel like the one trend I regret is bright red. Fall 2023, it was like we all forgot that red existed and like everything and anything was bright red, and I think it's a beautiful color, but I just do regret the specifically blouses that I thrifted that were bright red, because anytime I wore them, I just felt like it looked a little off. Like there was something about the color on me in like a blouse that I just never felt super comfortable in. And when it comes to Christmas sweaters and like festive crew necks that are red, and even my like Halloween costume that was bright red, I'm not talking about that, more of just like normal blouses that basically the blouses that I did thrift that were bright red, I ended up saying goodbye to them. I mean, there were only 2 or 3. Yeah, so not even like that wild, but I just look back at photos and videos and I'm like it was pretty, but I think for my style and how I wanted to integrate into outfits, it just didn't look how I wanted it to. And I think I definitely prefer more of a burgundy, dark red, which you could argue that I'm now just being influenced of liking burgundy because it is now more of a trending color compared to bright red. You totally could be true, but I do think it naturally integrates into my wardrobe a lot better with where I kind of want my style to go. A trend that I kind of, I guess, was influenced into trying that I do think I'm gonna continue to wear is suede. I had thrifted, or I got this suede button up from ThredUp, and I just love it so much. Again, suede isn't this new revolutionary fabric, but it is something that I hadn't like fully tried, in something that I have actively been wearing all of the time. Like that button up, it's lightweight, so it's actually perfect for Southern California fall and winter. And because I live in Southern California, it doesn't rain, it doesn't snow, so I don't have to worry about the weather potentially damaging the suede. And as long as you take care of the suede, it will stay nice. And I have just really been enjoying it, just as like another material to add to an outfit. And then something else that I technically was kind of influenced, I guess you could, yeah, I would say, just because with this trend, I had done something that I am gonna continue on with, if that makes sense, which is quote unquote the Birkinification of bags, the trinkets. I would argue for me, it's way more of a like J fashion inspiration. And I remember when I talked about the trend in a fall trends video, I had to call it like the Birkinification, but yeah, I would argue more with the trinkets and just customization of bags. It's way more of like J fashion. It makes me think of Fruits magazine. And although I didn't go as like into the customization of my bag, I did go out of my way to buy pins from Etsy for my denim bag. And I feel like I'm just gonna keep it like this. Like I'm not gonna add more onto it. So I feel like that's more of like a great way to show taking a trend and making it personal to you, where like this was inspired by the trend, but it is very me. Like I don't have necessarily a bunch of trinkets, but for other people, they love a bunch of trinkets. And honestly, it is just so fun. And like seeing people, especially when you think of little trinkets of stuffed animals, like I love the idea of really embracing kind of younger you and just personality. I know that then there's the argument of the fast fashion of cheap trinkets, and that's a whole other conversation, but at least for me, in what I've done with my bag that was inspired by kind of that trend, I am going to continue it. I'm gonna continue to wear it and have it on my bag, and I think it's really adorable. Although I will say, I think there's like the Miu Miu bag charm that's like $400. Like, okay, I think at that point we did lose the plot. I got a couple of questions asking if I'm still styling on Indyx, and I wasn't sure how to announce it because there isn't like a negative reason why I've stepped back from styling on Indyx. It was just really about timing and availability, and I just wasn't able to put in what I wanted. But yeah, thank you to everyone that had booked a lookbook with me during that time. The messages were so heartwarming. Like one of the reviews I got, I literally cried. It was so beautiful. It was also so cool to style people that lived in different parts of the world, and you all have such fantastic clothes. Like the inspiration I got from your closets, thank you so much. I do still use Indyx for my clothes, but I have put my closet on private just because I found I then wasn't utilizing the app, because I didn't want to add stuff that I had thrifted and hadn't shown in a video yet, because it was going to be included in a collective thrift haul, or maybe a thrift haul I had filmed like a couple weeks before it was going to go live. And literally nobody would care if they saw those pieces and then saw them in a video, like saw them before the video. Nobody would have cared. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna spoil it. It's not gonna be as exciting when I then show it in a video. I completely understand that is a completely irrational thing to be worried about, but I just found I wasn't then using it, and I really wanted to use a digital wardrobe app to help me personally in like putting together outfits and keeping track of the things that I own and all of that. So I just found that putting it on private for right now was the best solution to keep me actually using it and getting the benefits out of digitizing my wardrobe. I don't add any more product to my eyebrows because I found that it was really easy to add too much to my eyebrows instead of just like adding small bits of definition, and then I was walking around with weird eyebrows. But something I do with my eyebrow felt tip is I actually emphasize these 2 freckles that I have that do end up getting covered by my skin tint, and I just feel like they are so adorable that I kind of just like to add them right in there. Probably the most life-changing thing that I have been doing in my makeup routine for the past year was swapping from a black mascara to a brown mascara. I still wear black mascara here and there, but I would say 90% of the time I use brown mascara, and it took me so long to get into brown mascara because in my head, I put brown mascara and like colored like blue mascara in the same category of mascara, and like they are not the same thing. It just gives a softer look when I'm wanting to go for that than a black mascara. And so I was using the e.l.f. mascara. It's fantastic. It's an amazing price, but I did find, because my bottom lashes are a little longer, that it would smear, especially in the summer. So I did recently, like only 2 weeks ago, buy this new Tower 28 mascara that I know a lot of people rave about. And now that I've tried it, I get it. I do get it. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be really difficult because I cannot put up mascara without having my mouth wide open. So I'm gonna try to cover my mouth. What is your favorite video you've filmed? The first thing that comes to mind that was my favorite, maybe not my favorite video to actually film, just because it required a lot of research and a lot of like editing and just overall was a lot of work, but it is the video I am most proud of, which is my polyester video. I just love that video because I really stepped outside of my comfort zone because it was so information heavy, and I got so many learns out of making that video. Like there's things that I definitely would do differently with how I structured the video, but overall I'm just really proud of myself. And not only did I learn just in general in regards to putting together a video like that, but just learning more about polyester. Like obviously I knew polyester was bad, but I don't think I realized how much gray area in regards to recycled polyester, organic materials, natural fibers, and overall just how we ended up being so reliant on polyester for clothing. The video or videos that were my favorite to film, put together, and put up was my 2023 Thriftmas videos, where I thrifted for a different content creator for 6 days straight leading up to Christmas. Those, oh my god, sometimes I will rewatch those videos because they were so festive and just so genuine and fun, and it was a lot of work and a lot of in my head of just really not wanting to thrift things for people that was gonna end up being clutter for them, which the feedback I received of them unboxing like after their little mystery boxes were so positive, and it really pushed me outside of my comfort zone to like put myself out there with people that I obviously had talked to through DMs and comments, but I've never met in person. I've never even like met through like a phone call or FaceTime. So someone like Kathleen or Lainey, putting myself out there to then FaceTime, and obviously like got along so well. My favorite thing is when I'm watching any of their videos and they are wearing something that I had thrifted for them for Thriftmas. Again, it just really like solidifies that I thrifted things that they actually like. Alas, I am not doing Thriftmas this year. I genuinely was under the impression that I was gonna be getting gum surgery this December. Like, I thought I was gonna be out of commission for a full month, and so it wasn't gonna be possible to do Thriftmas. If you watched my last Q&A video, it's a whole thing, but basically my previous dentist I've been going to my entire life, all of a sudden one day was like, oh my gosh, your gum recession is so bad that we need to do literally your whole mouth. We need to replace all your gums or do gum grafting for your entire mouth, and it's an emergency. Like, you need to get this done as soon as possible because all of your teeth are gonna fall out. And then I went to a different dentist and they were like, oh, you know, you have gum recession. You don't have it to where you need to do your entire mouth. Like, it is not like that, but you should, you know, maybe get surgery for it. And so I was planning on doing that this December, and that dentist I had gone to that I then was gonna get it done with was allegedly billing my insurance in a very sketchy way. And so I ended up going to a new dentist, so a third dentist that I'm now currently going to, that was like, okay, yes, you have gum recession, but it's not at the point where you would get surgery. It's more about maintaining what you have. And yes, if it gets worse, then looking into it, but it's not at the point to get gum surgery. So by the time I had gotten that answer, it was too late to plan on doing a Thriftmas, because in 2023 I had to start in like September. So no Thriftmas this year, but maybe next year, because it was just, again, so fantastic connecting with people in the secondhand fashion community on YouTube. And it's such a wonderful community, and I just had, again, the best time putting it together, and I would love to do it again. Something I've gotten the most comments about in regards to my makeup is my lip combo, which I did mention in my ultimate favorites video that I did this year, and I'm continuing to do the lip combo. So I start with the Rare Beauty lip liner, and then I use the e.l.f. lip stain to basically just pat in the lip stain around my mouth, and then I top it off with this Fenty Beauty like glitter lip gloss. What would I tell my younger self about finding personal style? So I'm gonna put a trigger warning because I'm going to mention body stuff, but I would tell my younger self to stop dressing out of hatred for my body. Something that really held me back from experimenting with fashion and using it as a creative outlet was this deep hatred for my body, focusing on dressing in a way that made me look as small as possible. Like, I wore the thinnest, flattest shoes because I hated how big my feet were. I wore the tightest skinny jeans to not make my legs have a bigger appearance than I thought they did. I wore tops where they specifically wouldn't show my imperfections. It was ingrained in me from a very young age. I have a very vivid memory of being in 2nd grade. I really wanted this denim jumpsuit from Rave Girl. One of my neighbors that was a couple years older and a lot smaller than me owned that denim jumpsuit, and she was just so cool, and I loved the denim jumpsuit. And so I was at the mall one day with a family member at Rave Girl, and I had said, like, I really want to get that denim jumpsuit, and they told me maybe I can get it once I lose weight. Which, looking back, I do have so much empathy for that person because they were just regurgitating the toxic beauty standards that they grew up with, and I don't think they were saying it out of meanness. I truly think they didn't want me to get bullied at school because it was going to show my imperfections, and they didn't want me to then feel worse about myself having other children point that out. But that has stuck with me for my entire life, and other things that were said to me about my body in a negative way growing up really created a precedent from a very young age about my body not being adequate enough to wear certain things, that certain clothing and fashion in general wasn't for my body. And no matter what size I was or the way that my body even changed and looked growing up, I always had that in my mind where fashion wasn't about expressing and again, just trying different things. It was literally to hide my body because it wasn't adequate enough. And I think that hatred really started with that denim jumpsuit. I know it sounds so silly, but I really wanted that denim jumpsuit so bad, and being told that because of my body, I couldn't, it just stuck with me that fashion was not about enjoying what you're wearing. It was about not emphasizing the things that society said was imperfect. I really don't think I started dressing out of love for my body until the past couple of years. And I would even say that trying to push out those thoughts is a constant struggle. I did think as a society we were changing the conversation around all of that, but unfortunately I do feel like it seems those standards are kind of reverting back, which is a real shame. Sorry to have added such a heavy topic in a fun, silly makeup routine, but I felt like the answer was really important, and especially for anyone that grew up in the same way and that is still having the struggle of pushing away those thoughts. And I think just overall, dressing out of love versus hatred is something that I just really wish I would have learned as a kid and had gone into fashion with that mindset versus the other. Okay, my last question is, what or who has had the most impact on your personal style? I think throughout the years, it's definitely changed, and the reasons why I had impact on my style, like growing up, you know, very much to what the last question was, it was more focused not really on the person's style, but on something else that I wanted to be them based on the way that they looked. So I would say something that I do feel overall and is more positive that has had an impact on my style is 90s fashion. It's no surprise, I know, but I've definitely been leaning into the 90s fashion inspo that I've been getting that has been different than how it has been. That sentence made absolutely no sense, but Phoebe from the first season of Friends, like amazing, love every single outfit. That is a very big inspiration. Elaine, why is it that every outfit she wore was a hit? And both of them, I would wear every single outfit that they wore. Something new though that has really been inspiring my style and has had quite a big impact is Lorelai from Gilmore Girls, which I feel her style is kind of early 2000s, but in a different way that I haven't been exposed to. I didn't watch Gilmore Girls growing up. John's watched it, but we have been watching it together. We started watching it last year, but then stopped because it's very much a fall show. So we had stopped and we're like, we'll pick it back up next year, which now is this year. We are on the season where Rory is at college. So I don't know what season that is, but Lorelai's style is so good. I think because to me, early 2000s was Paris Hilton style. Laguna Beach, TRL, that with Lorelai, hers has a spin on that, but with darker tones. And I have just been getting so much inspiration, and I have tried clothing that I would have never tried before because of Lorelai's style. I do also want to show some different content creators whose style has really impacted my style this year. And although I don't even feel my style is exactly the same, their just expression and their outfits just being so them has really inspired me to feel more excited about my own fashion. Oh my goodness, Autumn, what? She just like jumped on my clothing rack. Autumn, they're like pipes. You're not gonna be able to sleep on there. What are you doing? I just lost my train of thought. I think I answered the last question fully, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I know it was a little bit different, but I just wanted to do a chill chit chat makeup video, and also now my makeup is done for the day. If you would like to see my face again, then make sure to subscribe right down below and follow me on Instagram, which is AlexSunshine83. This is the finished look. You know, not the most exciting makeup, but it is the makeup that makes me feel the most me. And anytime I like deviate from it, I always end up just washing my face and then doing this makeup. I'm just not very creative with my hands and makeup skill, and anytime I've done like eyeshadow, it just like I never end up looking like myself. And so this, just like exactly how it is yeah, what makes me feel the most me. So I will see you all in my next video. Yeah, bye.